Aloha and welcome to the show. The 692nd Podcast is a platform for developing and connecting with our airmen across the island and those now serving on the mainland. Tune in for episodes where we talk all things leadership and personal development while getting a glimpse into the lives of the people moving our missions forward. I'm your host, Master Sergeant Eric Addison, and this is the 692nd Podcast. Welcome, Knights, Tigers, Hawks, Warriors, and Krakens. Our next airman deserving of the group's bragging, Staff Sergeant Eric Wilson. He is a member of the 8th Intelligence Squadron where he works as one of our data managers. Acting outside of his 1 in 4 role, Staff Sergeant Wilson learned how to code in Java and Python and has been putting those skills to use, developing tools and applications on ArcGIS to facilitate the group's data strategy into a coherent vision. Please enjoy this conversation with Staff Sergeant Wilson. This is Master Sergeant Addison with the 692nd Podcast, and I'm here with Staff Sergeant Eric Wilson.
Hello.
So you go by Eric.
Yes.
What is your middle name?
William.
Eric William Wilson.
Yep. My initials are ew.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm glad you know that
Yep.
because I was about to say that. All right. Is that purposeful on your parents' part?
You know, I would hope not.
Yeah. Were you a nasty baby?
I would like to think I was the best baby. So I have one older brother.
Okay.
His name's Kyle.
Okay.
He is 31 now. We're 2 years apart.
All right.
So I feel like I was the good child, but I mean, my parents could go back and forth on either one of us.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
I know I was a good child because they didn't find out a lot of stuff.
See, I thought they didn't find out a lot of stuff about me until I figured I'm old enough now to tell them of the previous stuff I've done in the past. And they're like, oh, yeah, we know.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And you are married?
Yes.
What's your wife's name?
Alicia.
Alicia. And she is in the military.
Correct.
Is she also in the 8th IS?
Yes.
Okay. What does she do in the 8th IS?
Currently, she's working near a real-time mission.
All right. All right. And she is what is her AFSC?
1 in 4.
So, and you are also a 1 in 4, correct?
Correct.
All right. You are from where?
Arizona.
All right. And where's your, did you meet your spouse there, Alicia there, or did you meet her in the military?
We met her, I met her in tech school.
Oh, you're a tech school marriage.
So we tried to stay away from that because we didn't get married in tech school.
Okay.
We wanted to see if we could do a long-distance relationship. I went from tech school actually to Tucson in Arizona.
No.
And then she went to Nebraska. So it's both still in the States.
Right.
But we wanted to see if we could work that out before actually getting married. And we actually got married while we were apart.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
And you've been married for how long?
Ooh, 6 years?
It's all right if you mess it up or whatever. We can delete everything and then start over. It's fine. And you'll be like, oh yeah, we've been married for 6 years, 3 months,
It'll
and
be
12
7
days.
years in May.
All right. 7 years in May. Do you have any children?
No, 3 dogs.
3 dogs. All right. Are you planning on having children? Or are you just waiting, or are you?
Yeah, we plan on having children.
Dogs are good too.
Yeah, those are a handful.
Yes.
But I feel I wanted to get more comfortable financially before actually wanting to try to have kids.
Yeah, that's smart. I promise you.
Yeah.
Now, I will say I have 3 children, and my children think they get away with everything as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is very enlightening to them when I explain to them, you do realize that mommy and daddy did this as well. So we did those same things. We made those same mistakes. We did stupid things. Mm-hmm. So when you try to lie to us, it doesn't.
Right. And
we just know you're lying.
My parent, I've lied to my parents before, and they are always saying, we're going to be super excited when you have kids because they're going to turn out exactly like you. I'm like, well, I'm going to be ready for that because I know what I did.
You will be, but you're never ready. I promise you. That's fine. So Phoenix, Arizona?
Yes.
What was life like in Phoenix? I've only been through Phoenix Airport. I've never actually...
through Sky Harbor?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never actually...
It's hot.
It is. Well,
I mean...
The airport was nice and cool. Where is Fort Huachuca?
Ooh.
That's in Flagstaff.
Is that in Flagstaff? Is that north?
Nope. Maybe it's south.
I thought it was more southern.
Yes. I went to Fort Huachuca, but I don't really remember it because I was a senior airman and I was TDY.
Oh.
And I flew from Korea to Los Angeles airport, and then I took a bus.
Ooh.
They took a bus from Los Angeles airport to some Army base east, and then I got on a helicopter and flew to Fort Huachuca.
I mean, helicopter part's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bus doesn't sound appealing.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I do remember the helicopter ride because I totally thought we were going to die. And I was there for an Army course, so everything was being run and maintained and done by the Army.
So you might, yeah.
I literally thought I was
possibility.
Yeah, it was legit like death going to occur. So I think I might have even said like last will and testament to myself. I didn't know. But I went to Fort Huachuca for the interrogators course because of my role in Korea that I was doing. So I don't remember anything about Arizona except it was hot.
Yeah.
And Fort Huachuca was a very big base that I could go run around and I could hear gunshots because apparently I think you could at the time hunt on the base.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was curious. Is like, should I be wearing like an orange vest while I'm running? And there's like, no. I was like, I'm probably going to start doing that anyway. So
that's what the reflective belt is there for, right?
Yeah, I didn't have reflective belt. So
what are you talking about? That's like the main necessity for deck school.
I had a purple reflective belt for Korea around my backpack because that was a requirement. If you wore a backpack, I had to have a reflective belt around that. You looked ridiculous when you left base, took your reflective belt off, put it back into your bag, and then when you got on base, you had to take it out of your backpack and put it around there. It was horrible. So it was a 1 in 4 Bravo.
Yes.
Because we do have 1 in 4 Alphas, not in the 8th IS, but you are essentially a SSgt reporter, but you have a specific job here in the 8th IS that is not a normal 1 in 4 position, correct?
Correct, yeah.
What is your job and what is that? What are your like roles and responsibilities in this role?
So at the 8th, I am part of the data management team. So it is my job and my team's job to make sure all of the other AETs are good to go with putting in data for visualization for their customers, pretty much for the AOC.
Okay.
I mean, and it's me just keeping up with the programs that they're using and updating them whenever need be.
All right.
And then also training members of those AET groups or flights so that they are also able to do what I'm able to do. So I'm not always bogged down by little requirements that they might send.
Absolutely. So data management is very, let me put this gently. No one really thought about it or cared about it previously, especially in a DCGS environment.
Yeah.
Or unfortunately, it's not a very well-known requirement in the intelligence community as a whole. Okay. Now, I think as we are starting to see the amount of data that is being able to be processed and obtained and categorized and really analyzed, I think a lot more 3-letter agencies as well as individual units are taking a much deeper look or a closer look at data management.
Yeah, and it's not that new, but to the military it's pretty new.
Yeah.
And it's nice seeing us kind of start from the ground up with that and kind of push it out to everyone else saying, hey, look at this cool thing that we created that you also have the capability to do. And being able to be like the stepping stone for that is pretty neat. Yeah,
I do think the one thing I really like about, not one thing, but I like a lot of things about data organization and data management and, the analysis that can come from it. The biggest thing that I like about it, I believe, is the information that you're collecting and all the data, what it's showing you, and the questions that you didn't know you should have been asking.
Right.
The kind of the perspectives that you can get just by looking at essentially a bunch of numbers, and the analysis that you can get from that you didn't even know that you should have been asking a different question. I really like that, and I think I started seeing that more whenever I dealt with data scientists doing the Amberglow efforts. I'm not really sure if they're not quick reaction teams, but the Amberglow efforts that go on for the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence,
Mhm.
OUSDI. And so your role is new, just like you said, it's new to the military as well.
Mhm.
And, the thought of managing our data and making sure it's categorized and put into a usable format.
Mhm.
We locally in the group, as well, specifically more in the 8th IS, you guys had to kind of build this from scratch.
Yeah, so we're actually using a program called ArcGIS,
Okay.
which is owned by Esri.
Uh-huh.
And we're using their programs to kind of help visualize this data that we're putting in. But we had to come up with the data schema that we're using and that all the other flights are using now to correctly visualize what they're putting in.
Right. Data is, if it's unstructured,
It's a mess.
It's a mess, exactly. You're just looking at an Excel spreadsheet with a whole bunch of random stuff on it,
Right.
types things.
A whole bunch of numbers and then some words in there.
Right. And free text is horrible.
Yeah.
So everyone, I know if the world was, black and white in all aspects when it comes to our jobs, everything would be drop-down menus, and then that would make your job so much easier because then you can filter for everything of that. But obviously that's not the case because every day is a new challenge and things. I will say you were nominated by your leadership. So why you are here, right? So you've been called out by your peers in leadership for being awesome. We are going to just have a conversation on what makes you awesome, not just for your unit, but for the group as a whole.
It's a good ego.
Right
there.
I'm here for you. I mean,
I appreciate that.
If you felt like this week you were not feeling appreciated, like today is the day to change that. Okay. So all I'm going to do is hype you up.
Awesome.
To you.
Let me just start glowing.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. Not too bright though.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you came here from what unit?
The 15th Intelligence Squadron at Langley in Virginia.
Okay. And what did you do there?
There we did target system analysis.
Okay.
So my job out there was to gather information from the commander's objectives of whatever O plan we were going after.
Yep.
To create targets based off of what the commander wanted and then prioritize those targets in a way so we could send those to the AOC and the targets team.
Yep.
So that they could, when they do
their job,
their job, they would be able to have the most information possible. So we were kind of like the groundwork to give to the AOC while I was out there.
So when you got here, did those skills and that work that you did there, did it translate and transfer over to the 8th IS?
A little when I first started working at the 8th. I used the knowledge that I got from them for researching just quick analytic work.
Right.
Being able to find certain answers kind of quickly because I knew where to look or I knew what organization would have that type of information that I'm looking for to help out my team. So I would say, but I mean, currently what I'm doing now, no, I'm not using any of that.
Yeah. I will ask, when you first got here, did you realize that there were other people who were supposed to be doing that same type of work that maybe didn't have that information, those skill sets? Did you transfer those skills onto anyone else?
No, I did realize about, I think, a week after I started working that one of the AETs was working with the 15th Intelligence Squadron.
Okay.
So it was really nice to go work with that AET and kind of help them understand the questions that the 15th was asking them.
Right.
And it was nice to kind of be that bridge between now the DGS and the 15th IS.
Yeah, that is good. And I know that we can collaborate with a lot of different units, but it's really difficult for us to understand their motivations behind certain questions or, responses and things like that. So having that kind of inside baseball that you had from that unit is really good. And I'm sure that I know that that's going to help out in all aspects of, collaboration and working together. Yeah. So that's good. So do you have any interest in graphic design?
Yeah. I would say a fair amount.
Yeah. Where did that graphic design interest come from?
Really the 15th, actually.
Okay.
We were starting up a new type of way to share intel to our, like the young airmen kind of basic graphics of how things are done at the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in charge of making some, what are they called?
Infographics?
Yeah, infographics.
Okay.
So
I know you didn't want to keep saying the term graphic.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. I do that.
yeah. So yeah, I was in charge of making some infographics just so the younger airmen could understand some of the processes that we had, and that turned into creating coins, creating little emblems that we would use. I created the 15th IS emblem that the commander is now using as a coin. They're using it on all their products now, which I found fascinating.
Cool.
But I guess it started. I just always had a little habit for it.
All right.
When I deployed to IUD in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked at the ISARC out there.
All right.
And I realized that all these other little shops had their own specific coins, but the
Right.
ISARC didn't have a coin. So I thought it'd be fun just to create one for our team. And we created one. We bought a whole bunch. I think they're still selling them out there now.
Cool.
So yeah, and then out here at the 8th, when everyone was getting into their own AETs, I was like, well, DOA needs one.
Right.
And so I wanted to create one for our team.
So now DOA has their own specific coin, or
No, so they pretty much, it's like a flight patch.
all right, the morale patch.
Right.
Okay.
It's not made into a patch yet, but I mean, they can make it into a patch if they want. They have the design.
Yeah. So are you a doodler?
Not really, no.
You're not artistic at all?
I wouldn't say so.
Oh.
Best I could draw is a stick figure, and even that comes out pretty shoddy.
I did a stick figure yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I did. Yep. I was explaining like the origin of a Chinese character in my brain, and I had to draw a stick figure. So we talked about your role as a data manager. We talked about your interest as graphic design, and of course the squadron, the sharing that occurred with the 15th IS and things like that. So I've got a few more questions that are not specifically related to work.
Okay.
Just you as a human being.
Okay, let's do it.
So, do you watch a lot of movies?
Yes.
Do you read a lot of books?
No, actually, more comic books, actually. I recently started getting back into manga and comic books.
Okay. What's your favorite manga?
Dragon Ball Z, hands down.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I've never read a Dragon Ball Z manga.
Mm.
I think I've watched a couple of episodes when my karate instructor's son, my karate instructor is, well, he's passed now, but his son was 9 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So it always confuses people. Like, how old was he? So he was 21 and I was like 11 turning 12, but he would get into Dragon Ball Z maybe a couple years later, but he would watch it a lot and I would.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite anime.
Yeah.
Too.
Interesting. What's your favorite thing about Dragon Ball Z? Knowing that Super Saiyan is within all of us?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you like to glow?
The ability to try to think that it could happen by focusing all of your attention into one thing.
Yeah. To harnessing all of your chi.
Yes.
And become Super Saiyan.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Would you use that power for good or evil?
Good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I would be the Goku.
Okay.
Or
not
Gohan. Gohan was my favorite character, so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's a character called Gohan?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Goku's son.
Okay. Doesn't Gohan mean like 5 finger?
I have no idea what it means.
Oh, I don't speak Japanese. A lot of people told me that because I learned Korean, that Japanese should be easy. But then I realized because they also have, outside of Chinese, that does not have an alphabet per se.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese has an alphabet as well, so it should be easy to pick up. But then I found out they had 2 different alphabets.
Ooh, that's tough.
And they use Chinese characters. And their Chinese characters can have multiple different pronunciations. I was like, nope.
Yep, not for me.
Nope. Korean, they use Chinese characters, obviously. They use the long form, the traditional form, so it's not the simplified.
Okay.
But they have one pronunciation to that Chinese character, so it's either pronounced one way or you just don't know that. Like me, I don't know the pronunciation of it. I'm just like, cool, that's a Chinese character. What else does the sentence say? So I can try to figure out what that means, because that happens.
Gotcha.
So what type of movies do you like to watch?
So genre, I would say thriller.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big thriller. Wife is a big horror fan. I'm not. I hate horror.
Oh.
I get scared too easily.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the jump scares.
Okay.
But for me, thriller and anything really space related. I'm really into to astrology.
It's interesting because one of my topics is what is a topic that you can talk about for hours?
I don't know if I could talk about astrology for hours.
Right.
I know I could.
Oh, you're saying astrology, not astronomy.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, astronomy.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was like, are you a Pisces or?
So I'm a Leo, but
okay.
No, I'm not. I meant astronomy.
Okay, so you could talk about astronomy, or you're interested in astronomy.
I'm very interested in it.
Yeah,
but I'm not. I couldn't talk about it.
Okay.
One of my big goals is to see the curvature of the Earth somehow.
Okay.
I think that would be interesting, and also hopefully someday to create something that is put into space, or be on a team that created something that gets put into space.
Yeah.
The Hubble telescope, I was very fascinated in the new telescope that they're going to be launching soon.
Right.
But that's about as my knowledge of astronomy goes.
Yeah. I will say that I've seen a picture of the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
That was given to me by a U2 pilot.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
They had some of the best photos. It's a crappy camera too, but just the location and where they're taking the photos and what they're taking photos of was so good. You didn't care about any the 3 megapixel camera or whatever it was. So
I would go on YouTube and watch a bunch of videos of people strapping GoPros to weather balloons.
Yep.
And launching them up into the stratosphere, and then just having that video footage of it just falling back down, or just as it's going up to see the Earth get smaller and smaller. It just fascinated me.
Yeah. So you believe that the Earth is not flat?
I do believe the Earth is round.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm a hard believer on that.
Yeah. There was an individual in the 8th IS who claimed that the Earth was flat. Okay. I'm not sure if he was actually a flat earther or if he just liked to troll people, because they would get into arguments on the ops floor.
Yeah, I would not do well with that person.
Yeah, I think he's probably just a troll, and that's fine.
Hopefully.
So
I hope they're all trolls, and they all know.
I hope so too. I've met some people that I don't believe are very intelligent when it comes to science or things like that. So, or easily manipulated. Let's go that.
Yeah.
Go that route, because they're probably very intelligent on some aspect. But yes, I'm kind of interested now because you watch thriller and your wife watches horror. So it might not be appropriate for the podcast, but what movie quotes do you use on a regular basis?
I don't think I use any movie quotes.
I don't believe that at all.
I use a lot of TV show quotes.
Okay, like what?
From The Office.
All right.
The obvious is that's what she said.
Yes. You say that a lot?
Yeah.
Does your wife get angry at that?
No, she loves it.
Oh, really?
She does it to me all the time, too.
Oh. Yeah, no, my wife is not. I didn't watch The Office.
Okay.
And I thought it was more funny to use it in ridiculous ways anyway. Not that you would ever, you would never use, that's what she said in this way, but I would use it then. My wife just got tired of it. And then it got funny when she got irritated. I should probably delete this off the podcast. She doesn't listen to podcasts, so I don't want to worry about it. But so you use a lot of Office quotes.
Yeah, and then I'll quote Office once in a while if the timing is right, or if something comes up, if a situation comes up and it just reminds me of like a scene from The Office.
Right.
I'll just regurgitate what happens in the show.
Yeah. I don't watch too much TV. Me and my wife, obviously, we focus on a few specific shows. She likes Grey's Anatomy, and
oh yeah, my wife loves Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, and I watched it too. So, and it has nothing to do with my name. I guess originally when Grey's Anatomy, when it first came out, one of the main characters' name is Derek.
Yep.
And then
he's married to a person named Addison.
Exactly, and so that was a big thing, and I didn't understand it.
When I first saw that it was Master Sergeant Derek Addison, I was like, oh, that just reminds me of Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't realize what that meant at all, because I'd never seen the show at the time.
Gotcha.
And someone pointed it out to me. I was like, okay,
yeah, cool.
So I was Derek Addison before the show existed. So, it kind of reminds me of the movie The Office, or Office Space.
Office Space,
where he's like, I was Michael Bolton before he became, famous or something like that. So same situation. And I just watched Office Space again recently because one of our neighbors had never seen it.
Ooh, that's always fun.
I know. So I was like,
get their reaction.
I know. So I was like, okay, this is going to be good. It's funny though. Her son, our neighbor's son, I just talked with him last night about astronomy. I showed him a picture of the night sky, the stars in the sky. Because he was asking me how many. He said something about he learned the letter V in school. He's 4.
Okay.
So he was learning the letter V in school, and I was like, "What words do you know with V?" And he said Venus, and I was like, "That's right. What is Venus?" He's like, "It's a planet." I was like, "How many planets do we have?" He's like, "A zillion." I was like, "There might be a zillion planets." And my son, who's 8, he's like, "There's 8 planets." I was like, "Okay." And
Pluto.
I know, right? It's a dwarf planet, but it's not a planet anymore. It's not one of the 9.
Yep.
So that was always confusing whenever people are like, "There's only 8 now," and I was like, "But we added another ocean since I graduated high school, the Southern Ocean."
Okay.
So that added in like 2008. I graduated high school in 2002, so was not aware that we changed things.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. They changed math. I know that, but so because I have to deal with that now with my children. So I actually liked it though. It's a lot more logical in the way they want to do it. I just hate showing work where I have to draw big blocks of tins, and that's irritating.
Yeah.
And I am not artistic either, so it's not a fun thing for me. But yeah, I did explain to him about how many stars in the sky, and imagine every single one of those stars is its own sun, and each one of those suns has 8 planets. So if there's a zillion stars, then there's 8 zillion planets. And his eyes got really big, and I was like, "That's right." And he's like, "How many have life?" I was like, "I have no idea."
We don't know.
7. I'm gonna go with 7. It's a lucky number.
At least one.
At least there's got to be at least one, right? I don't know about intelligent life. We're still looking for it here.
Yep. I
All
see.
right.
So for that though, I also like with the Hubble telescope, one of the images that they not recently, but they showed out to the world was a whole bunch of different galaxies.
Yeah.
Just millions upon millions of galaxies in this one photo.
Yep.
And all those galaxies have so many stars within them, and all those have planets associated with it. So
Exactly.
that's why I like astronomy so much.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Staff Sergeant Sham, and we talked about that same thing about the numbers of planets that are out there that are possibly out there is too high for there not to be life on one of them.
Yep. I also believe that.
Yeah, it's a numbers game.
Even if it's like just bacteria life.
Exactly.
Not even like
Exactly.
aliens, like what we see aliens in the movies.
Right.
But just living things. Yeah, there has to be at least one.
Yeah, I wonder who came up with that original like alien look.
Like green.
Yeah, a little small like oval
head.
shaped
Yep.
or almond shaped head.
Yep.
You know, I wonder who came up with that and why. Maybe they were visited. I don't know.
Maybe they were the actual aliens after all.
Right. So outside of aliens, if magic was real, what spell would you try to learn first?
Are we talking like Harry Potter magic?
I mean, I don't know. What other type of magic do you know?
There's not a whole bunch of spells that I know besides ones coming from Harry Potter.
Right.
And at that point, I don't even know spell names from Harry Potter.
I know you can expel their armis.
What spell would I want to know?
So in the Dragon King or Dragon Kid or whatever that my son and my children watch, I guess all 3 of my children watch it. There's an elf who's going with them, and she's like she's an assassin, but she's never killed anyone, so it's kind of weird. But he does like he draws like a symbol for air or breath, and he like does this like little push motion.
Oh, okay. That kind of reminds me of Avatar.
Think about Avatar, yeah. So what about Avatar? You want to manipulate
fire?
You just want to manipulate fire?
Yeah. That'd be my go-to. If I had to choose one of the 4 elements from Avatar, it would be fire. Although water is cool, specifically when they brought in bloodbending, because that's also interesting. We never use it to harm anyone, but I find it very fascinating.
You can stop people from having strokes, though, right?
Right. But I think I'm more interested in fire. I'm kind of a small pyromaniac.
Okay.
I was when I was a child.
All right. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let you around fire.
Yep.
Taking notes now. Okay. All right, good.
If there's a fire, I blame him.
Yep. So if you could firebend or manipulate an element, you would prefer fire.
Yep.
I don't know if there's any spells associated with that.
I don't know.
But what about in Harry Potter? Like if you could do one of those spells, which one would you do? And if you say Avada Kedavra, we're going to have to end the interview. The one that kills people.
Yeah, no.
So.
I mean, I like the Patronus spell. I'm curious on what my Patronus would be.
Yeah.
But other than that, probably...
I'm prether sure there's a Facebook thing that's like, figure out your Patronus.
There's an app for it. There's
that's probably true.
Other than that, I'm not 100% sure on what other Harry... I like Harry Potter, but I'm not devoted to it.
I got you. That's fine.
I don't know. I think levitation would be cool.
Oh, that'd be cool. I don't know if you're into a lot of like comedy skits and things like that. Dane Cook, back in like the early 2000s, I remember one of them. He's like, if you had a superpower, what would it be? He's like, yeah, I want to fly. It's like, yeah, who the crap doesn't? You know, like How cool would it be just to be like, all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow, and you just fly? Like, who wouldn't want to do that, right? Obviously, you want to fly and see how high you can go to see the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
Not very much oxygen up there, so you might not make it.
I could hold my breath for just a little bit of time it takes
Yeah.
before I have to get back.
Hopefully, you can fly really fast.
Yeah.
So,
funny enough, though, when I was a kid, my favorite superhero was the Flash.
Okay.
Running really quick.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I had a nickname. So I was into sports when I was a kid, too.
Which sports?
Flag football.
All right.
And my coaches always called me Wheels Wilson.
All right.
Because I was one of the quicker ones on the team.
It's also because, and now no one in the podcast can see you right now. However, you are like 7'3", so it's probably because every step you take is like a 7-foot gate.
So, I mean, I didn't actually hit my growth spurt until my junior year of high school.
All right.
I was 5'8" as a freshman, and then 5'9" as a sophomore, and then 6'4" as a junior.
Okay.
So that was big, and I'm 6'8" now.
Okay. I was 5'4" as a freshman, 5'5" as a sophomore, probably 5'6" as a junior. Eventually made it to 5'9", I think in my 20s. Okay. And then I stopped, obviously. Yep. And now I think I'm shrinking back down. So I think I'm like 5'8.5" now. So, because, at PT tests, at the FAC when they were doing the measuring, they're like 68, 69? We'll go with 69. I was like, yeah, that sounds better. Thanks. So, but.
Every time when I would always step on the scale to measure their height, they would just be on their tippy toes. And they're like, you know what? How many inches?
Exactly.
80. And they're like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we had a commander in Korea. I was the group security manager. And the new commander coming in was Colonel Shane Hamilton. They gave me his paperwork, to start filling out for the, the restricted area badge, green badge, all of those things. And it said 6'9" on that. And I was like, 69 inches? They're like, no, he's 6'9". And I was like, okay. They're like, what's the issue? I was like, I mean, no, that's really tall, but I'm trying to do math in my head because I have to put everything in inches. Mm-hmm. And I've never had to think about how many inches that is. It's like 81. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that sounds good. I was like, I don't even know. So I'm like, all right, what's 6 times 12? 72. Okay, gotcha. All right, then add the 9. Yep. All right, yeah, 81. But then whenever I sent that to Pass an ID, they sent a response back like, 81, are you sure? Like, apparently everyone said he's extremely tall. I was like, okay. So, and he was, like 215 pounds. So, he's tall, but he's still
very
slim and everything. Yeah. He was also a cancer survivor and things like that. Like, there was a lot about him that we had all known before he even showed up. And we're just like, so he was like larger than, metaphorically as well. He was like larger than life before he even showed up. Mm-hmm. So, and there is have you ever been to Korea?
Yes. So,
there's the tunnel that we use.
Oh, that tunnel is the worst.
Exactly. So I told him
the worst for tall people.
It's very small. So I told him, like, sir, I'm going to take you through the tunnel, but this will be probably your first and your last time. Because there was another guy who worked out there named Brandon who was 6'9" as well. And he specifically made every effort to make sure he could just walk outside of that tunnel. Never had to go through it. And so we walked the tunnel one time. And Colonel Hamilton was like, this is stupid. I was like, so I like I said, this is probably your last time going through this tunnel. He's like, yeah, this really hurts my back. Because he had to like walk half bent over to get through it.
So, and I mean, when I TDY'd out there when I was with the 15th, and we would go through that tunnel, and they're like, don't touch any of the walls. Don't touch the ceiling. And I'm like, this is very tough for a tall person. And my head hit a camera.
Oh, yeah.
Just by accident.
Yeah.
And we just kept walking. Like, nothing happened. I was like, sorry. Like, didn't mean to do that.
Go like a mea culpa in the next camera as you pass by it. Yeah. What do you think you do to make this world a better place?
See, that's tough.
Do you make the world a better place? Maybe I'm assuming.
I think you're just assuming too much of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
Your glow is starting to diminish that.
So, I would say my comedy.
Okay.
Honestly.
You make sure you keep it light?
Yeah. Still getting work done, but also making sure people around me are having a good time with what they're doing. And I don't want people to be stressed out all the time. Or if they are stressed out, then being able to take them away from that situation and then kind of working them through another way so that they're more productive because then they're not worried about other things.
Yeah.
But I do that best through like cracking jokes here and there, just making fun of myself.
Right.
So
Richie Rich, the movie with Macaulay Culkin, back in the 90s. So I believe after his parents had already, disappeared, and Richie Rich was taking over the company, they were talking about how, or the evil dude, I cannot remember the John Levitt. No, John.
I don't know.
Anyway,
it's been so long.
I know, it's been a minute. So he was talking about how it's his job to cut the fat and fire people. And Richie Rich, or Macaulay Culkin, said in the movie, he's like, my father always said, if you want, happy workers do good work and they work harder, they work better. So yes, it is a movie, but I absolutely believe that as well, that happy employees, happy operators and everything will always do better work. Do you like animals? You have 3 dogs.
3 dogs.
What type of dogs do you have?
One is a black lab mixed with a pit. She's a rescue. We have our first dog that we got was a husky, purebred husky, and then a Jack Russell Terrier.
Ooh.
So 2 medium-sized dogs and a tiny dog.
Yeah. Do you like other animals too?
Yes.
All right. So out of all the animals in the world, if they could talk, if they could, you could have conversation with them, almost like Dr. Dolittle, right? You just turn into Dr. Dolittle for the day. Which one of them would have the most annoying voice?
See, my immediate thought was either a seagull or like a pigeon.
Okay.
I think seagull because I think of Finding Nemo and I think of mine all the time.
Yep.
And that just to me annoys me.
Yes. Yeah. Just wait till you have kids.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. That seagull is based off of someone real, I promise you.
Yeah, honestly, I think I would have to go with seagull. The most annoying voice.
Yeah. I think that movie, the seagull, would be okay. I also think of the pigeons in, was it Animaniacs?
Oh, man.
Right? I know, I'm taking it back.
Yeah, you are.
Which now they're doing Animaniacs again.
I heard.
There's a new one. So my kids are watching it. And they're like, how do you know the song? I was like, man, I've known this song since before me and your mother even got together. Yeah. But also, let's see, there's a new movie, Spies in Disguise, with Will Smith. He turns into a pigeon or something like that. And he's the voice of that.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit different because you've got one pigeon who's got like a Jersey accent in Animaniacs and, is always ready to fight. You're doing like a Joe Pesci. You're like, you talking to me? And then you got Will Smith on the other side who...
cool, calm, and collected.
Exactly. It's interesting. I don't know. I think crows would be very smart.
Yeah.
So there was a crow. I remember when I was at DLI and I was on trash detail. Whenever you first get to a location, there's like, you're not ready for class yet. You don't have a clearance. You don't have anything. You can't do anything yet. So just go out there and like base beautification. And I was walking around with a trash grabber, and someone had left one of those muffins that's in the wrapper, in the plastic wrapper, next to the area where we all form up in the morning. He was looking at it, and he looked up at me, and I was like, I'm not opening that for you. And he just like stabs his beak through the plastic and then starts like picking out pieces. I was like, all right, I mean, that's good. So I walked off to get other trash, and I came back, and he was still like poking at it and everything. I was like, all right, man, I'm not going to let it sit here. Like, you get a couple more bites, and I got to throw it away.
I'm taking it.
And so he got a few more bites, and I was like, okay. So I grabbed it and tried to move it away, and he starts like attacking the trash grabber, and I was like, hey, I will beat you.
I'm not afraid of you.
Exactly. And one of the blue ropes is his office was facing out where I was at, and he was like watching me this entire time, which makes me curious what he was doing. But anyway, but he was like watching me, and he saw me like raise the trash grabber up whenever this crow was about to attack me or whatever. I like raised it up real quick, and I grabbed the garbage and I put it in the bag, and it kind of like was hopping after me. And he's like, you might want to run. Those things get violent. I was like, what? And he's just like, no, they can get pretty violent. And I had no idea. I didn't know if he was joking or not. So I was like, I guess I like went a little bit faster, and he flew off, but he didn't come after me. But
I feel like crows are just very passive aggressive. That's how they would act.
Possibly, yeah.
And they would just wait for their time to be like, all right, going in.
Yeah.
They're just going to make your life even more miserable than what it already is.
Yeah. I did see when we were in Monterey, we were walking with a group of friends, and I turned around because I guess me and another guy were walking in front, and we turned around and there were a few more people, 3 or 4 more people behind us, and we turned around and walked backwards so we could talk to him. And this crow was like hovering over this girl's head, and we both like stopped and were like freaking out, like what's going on? And he like dive bombs and like pecks her in the back of the head. She's like, oh my god, what was that? Like, this was a bird, and it just kept attacking her hair. We had no idea there was a flower thing or whatever that fell on her hair. It looked like a bug.
Oh.
So it thought it was going for a bug, but she's really just, pecking the crap out of this girl's head. So we felt really bad. I don't know if we felt bad at all, actually. It was really funny.
It would, yeah.
So of course, she's running and sprinting off, and this bird's chasing after her, and we're just like, go inside a building. But I don't know what he was going for, but it was like some, almost like a little seed pod thing that kind of opened up. Maybe it looked like a beetle or something. You know how their little wings do? So I don't know.
That's funny.
It did not, it didn't work out well. So the quotes, though, I mean, as long as I quote movies when they pop into my head because of the situation.
Right.
So, or I also sing a lot of songs when my kids say something and they're like, is there a song for everything? It's like, yes, there is. If it's not in English, it's in Korean. And if I don't know it in Korean, I just make up the words anyway. And you don't know because the kids don't know. They don't speak Korean. So, although they do know the Baby Shark song in Korean. Yeah. There's a YouTube video. It's 10 hours of Baby Shark in Korean. And it's just the same. But so the Baby Shark, though, in Korean, it goes through. It has different words. It's not just Baby Shark do 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 do. So in Korean, it says Baby Shark do 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 do. And I got to sing it in my head. Or it's cute in the water, Baby Shark, and then Mommy Shark, gentle in the water, Mama Shark, Papa Shark. Stylish in the water, Papa Shark, things like that, and it's going through all the relatives as well, and it's got a different thing about each one. So, but it's still only like a 3-minute song. The Korean Baby Shark is a lot less irritating, I think, if you had to listen to it for a very long time.
For 10 hours straight.
Yeah, someone asked about that, and I was like, oh, here, let me send you a clip. And they're like, this is 10 hours. It's like, yes, I know. Yeah. But it's just the same thing over and over. I'm not even sure why I knew that they existed. I think one of my Korean teachers brought it up and just like, oh, you can watch it for like 10 hours. It's like, I'm physically, yes, but physically, no. I also could not.
Accept.
There's no way. I don't. Are you a naturally inquisitive person?
I would think so.
Do you ask a lot of questions?
Yes.
Yes? What's the last thing you Googled?
It's actually about the stocks that are happening right now.
Oh, yeah. The whole GameStop thing?
GameStop, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry.
That is funny. I did see one of the guys in the 792nd, or formerly in the 792nd. He's PCS since, but he made a lot of money. His GameStop, it started off. I don't know how much, but it went up like 3,000% or 2,000%. So, and he said something like he made like an extra $500 or something like that. Since he had taken a screenshot. Then one of his next posts said Robinhood stopped selling the thing. I was like, wait a minute, the app that you use to buy and sell stocks called Robinhood? He's like, yeah. And it's like, and we're like taking money from
rich and giving it to the poor.
Exactly, rich hedge funds. And they're stopping it. And I was like, that's not very Robinhood-like. Apparently, obviously, you get on Facebook or TikTok or whatever your flavor is, and you see a whole bunch of the same type of memes. Everyone else thinking the same thing. It's like, how are you going to call yourself Robinhood?
They're getting a lot of flack right now too.
Yeah.
A lot of class action lawsuits against them because they stopped people from trading a publicly traded service.
Would Robinhood? So I understand like the hedge funds, or I don't actually understand. I haven't actually delved into it, but I understand that there are a lot of companies that are going to lose a lot of money based on the situation.
The hedge funds are,
yeah. So, and it's in the billions. So that's very important to understand.
They bet on that GameStop was going to go low.
Oh.
So Reddit, the trolls that they are,
I know. I love
it. You know what? We're going to show you how this actually works to raise that so that then when they said that they were going to buy it at a certain price because they thought it was going to be super low, now have to buy it at this most expensive price, which is just going to increase the stock further.
That's too funny.
I think I bought one share because I didn't want to miss out, and I wanted to be a part of this movement.
That's right. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Hedge funds, let's go with that, because I don't know if they have leaders or conglomerates or groups or anything like that. So they're going to be losing out a lot of money. Is Robinhood going to be losing money as well?
If they pissed off the users enough and then no one uses it anymore, then yes.
Why would Robinhood stop people from... I think if Robinhood was about to lose some money, like they would want that to stop as well.
So from what I read, and these could just be rumors too.
Fake news.
Yeah, it could be fake news. But from what I read, that the main hedge fund had interest in Robinhood, or Robinhood, they were like kind of sharing some stuff.
Someone's in cahoots.
Right. So when the hedge fund loses money, then Robinhood loses money. And Robinhood was just saying we're doing this to protect you guys. It's like, well, it's our money. Let us do what we want with it.
Exactly. You won't protect us whenever we're losing thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So
if I'm okay with losing $200, I'm okay with losing $200.
Exactly. You don't go to Vegas thinking that you're just going to win it all and come back. So
what I think is funny about all of this, though, is and it's been said multiple times on any social media platform, but when the guys in suits and the hedge fund guys at Wall Street, when they do this to us all the time, it's a normal day for them. But when we do it to them, it's bad and we need to stop this all. It's like, well, you're just mad because we're winning.
Yeah. When the house loses, the house is not happy.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
It's market manipulation. No, it's not. We're just doing what you guys do, but better.
Yes. I do love that pretty much I blame a lot of things, not blame. I attribute a lot of things to the millennials. And so like when President Trump, whenever he was having a rally, and I guess a whole bunch of young people who were not Trump supporters, and they went out and they bought a whole bunch of virtual like tickets to his event. Seats. And then so whenever he showed up,
no one was there.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So they like set up a whole outside stage and things like that. Things like that, or the things that we do that is just like straight up trolling people.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, like they didn't care. It was the president of the United States at the time who that position, whether you like the person or not, right? Like that position, in theory, should garner respect.
Right.
So, but especially the new generation, they give no craps whatsoever about who they troll. If they feel like they want to troll someone, they can get a whole bunch of people to troll. So I think it's really funny. And I think after the whole GameStop thing, after like this stock skyrocketed by 3,000% or some craziness, and all these hedge fund guys were saying, like this is gonna, like we're asking for bailouts for like $5 billion bailouts and stuff. I was like, I really love the new generation.
Yeah.
I love that they see things like this and just like, you know what we can do.
We can mess with you.
Exactly.
One of my favorite times I've seen people mess with like celebrities is they did this to Taylor Swift quite a few years ago.
Okay.
But I think she had a promotion going on or a contest of where she would play her next concert at, like at a school rally or whatever.
Right.
The people on the internet all grouped together and had her go to a deaf school to play at a deaf school. She obviously didn't go, and she gave money to the school because,
right.
But that was super funny to just be like, you know what, this is what you're going to be doing.
I would have so used that if I was Taylor Swift. I'd have made sure that the speakers were face down, so all the rhythm and everything would go to the floor. Yeah. I would make sure I had plenty of interpreters out there, so that I would assume. Now there's some like videos on YouTube where these people who do sign language, like translation or whatever, they're doing like full rap songs and everything.
Yeah.
And you see them at rap concerts.
I've seen one rap or translate to Eminem.
Exactly.
And, oh man, and the way she was getting into it too, like
I don't know who enjoyed the song more, like the people who could hear, or the people who were watching her. It's like I'm assuming she's right because I don't understand American Sign Language, but that's like she was getting into it. So yeah, like I would have definitely used that. Like I'd be like, hey, thanks for the troll. This is a great idea too, and I would have use it.
I think they did the same thing somewhat to Pitbull.
Okay.
He had another contest, and people sent him to like the lowest populated spot and called him Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, if you ever leave an option open to everyone to participate in,
yeah,
something's going to go on.
This is true. You would hope that a majority would be
genuine.
Yeah, but I think in this day and age,
no one cares.
No. I think it's almost like how in the military, as you get higher in rank and you've been maybe in a specific job for long enough, or in a specific job for too long, that you get kind of jaded. And I think maybe the younger generation, just growing up in what we're kind of maybe seeing right now, with all of the different, political / economic and climate and all the things that we have such a division over. Maybe they're just tired of it and they're just going to troll everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm totally cool with that. Because I don't have a stake in any of it. So, I mean,
it's be fun to watch.
Exactly, right? So I'll be sitting here with popcorn, It's almost like I'm sure that it came out multiple times on multiple different situations, but I keep seeing a picture of a guy actually, I think I just recently saw it with Bernie Sanders, sitting in his mittens and everything, like his leg across the Bernie meme that's going around right now. But it's just sitting like that and just watching the earth on fire and just like sitting there eating popcorn. I'm cool with. Obviously, I don't want to watch the world burn, but I do love watching the dumpster fires that occur throughout just a lot of it's just because of ridiculousness. And lack of communication. People don't understand the other side, or people don't want to have a conversation with someone. So
I think a lot of it is people just are so stuck to what they believe in that they're not willing to give on the other side a chance. Really.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, maybe they should take the ABI class. Learn about those cognitive biases and things like that. You can take the Arbinger course, the Arbinger Institute.
Mm-hmm.
We just took the Arbinger course, or the Arbinger Institute course, with group staff. A group of us from XP and a group of us from DO, and Art is there. And just thinking about or seeing other people, as human beings is very important, and just seeing that they have their own ideas, their own motivations, and things like that, their own perspectives. It's very difficult to explain perspectives to the people who don't want to talk about them, or don't believe that they are afflicted by personal cognitive biases and things like that. And I don't know, it's difficult to talk to people like that who don't believe in that.
Right.
So this is the way the world works. And it's like, for you,
for everyone else, it works a different way.
I think so. There's a picture I saw on probably Facebook, I guess, and it's talking about how perspective is important. And it's a giraffe drawing a painting of a lion.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the lion that you see is, he's got his face and, him standing on all fours, and he's got this big, brown or darker colored mane and everything. But the giraffe, where from his perspective, since his, his neck is so long, he's seeing downward. It looks like a male appendage, with that mane is just a whole bunch of fur at the bottom. So it is. I can see how perspective, as from 6'8" that you are, versus the 5'2" airman that is in 392nd. I think just visually, perspective is extremely different. Although you are the first person to know when it rains, she has the most time to avoid it. So
I'll be the first person to be struck by lightning.
This is true. So, all right. So make sure that you don't have a lighter in the building. And
if it rains, walk away.
Yeah. Perspective is extremely important.
Yes, it is.
And I recently have taken a more serious look internally about how I perceive the world, because I can get into the idea that I'm right, you're wrong. And as a tech sergeant in the Air Force, I saw my role, and I still kind of see that as a tech sergeant, as a technical expert. One of the positives that I see in the Air Force is you have an airman, a tech sergeant, doesn't matter male, female, doesn't matter how old they are. They are a technical expert if they've made that rank and they've been in that career field for their, for a good amount of time. Like, their role is to be able to walk into any room, talk to anyone about their specific knowledge base. They're the technical expert, and that's what's accepted. And you're like, cool, have a great day. There's no questions like, well, I mean, who's that tech sergeant? It's like, he is the tech sergeant of that. He was called in here as the technical expert for this reason, because he's the tech sergeant. I did not see the same thing in the Navy, because if you're not a chief, your opinion doesn't matter. At least in the example that I saw when deployed out onto the carrier, the Navy is very different in that aspect. But I was an E7 when I got onto the ship, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Yep.
I was not treated that way. I was treated like a chief, so it didn't matter. But I mean, it does matter, but it didn't affect me. So I agree. Perspectivism is very important. So I have one more question that I would like to know, or I'd like your opinion on. So tear gas makes people cry. Laughing gas makes people giggle.
Oh boy.
What other kinds of gases do you wish existed? If you could have a canister
of any type of gas
gas, and you pulled the pin, what would you want it make people to do?
Ooh. My first thought was not good. It makes me sound more evil.
I mean, I can always delete it out if it's too evil.
I would just say like a poop gas.
Oh, okay.
Would be funny.
Yeah. So let's soften it up a little bit. That's horrible. All right, let's go with let's lessen the severity of that and make it a fart gas. So instead of just straight up pooping themselves, they start just farting.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe like
I mean, that's just normal gas though.
That maybe. I mean, whenever I have tear gas, I don't start farting. Yeah. So, but
my other option was a dancing gas, because that would also be funny.
Dancing gas, yeah, that has been said before.
Really?
Yes, Sergeant Sham.
Oh.
He also said he'd want a dancing gas. So with the let's say like the riot, or let's say, well, I don't know what they call it now, the event that took place at the Capitol building on January 6th.
I think so. Yeah.
January 5th, January 6th, one of those. If there's a whole group of people that are, causing ruckus or anything like that, or let's say it's just a riot, right? There's a whole riot that's going on, and you're just like, if you're the Capitol Police, just pull the pin, throw a gas of dance, and everyone's just out there dancing. It's like,
now it's a party.
Exactly, right? You get some lights going, get Taylor Swift to come out there, put the speakers down. They can feel the beat. We're good.
Just make sure I have those the sign language.
The sign language, exactly. You don't even need Eminem. No. You can just have her up there with the music. She's bouncing too, so it's good. Yeah,
all while looking up at the stars.
Exactly. Because you have interest in astrology.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to know my signs.
It's fine. The Latin base, I still have no idea like what the difference between optometry and ophthalmology is. So, and I think they both deal with eyes, but I didn't know there was, I don't know.
One's the left eye, one's the right eye.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe I'll Google that later. So I Google a lot of random stuff as well. The majority of them are, safe for work type stuff. But there's a few things that I Google that I won't Google at work just because of some of the things that can come up in the search results.
Oh, yeah.
So you're just like,
I'll save this until later.
Yeah. Like this is something that I'm dealing with at work, and it's something I probably need to know, but I'm going to wait until.
Or just go out to the phone real quick and double check, and then go back in and be like, all right, this
exactly.
is what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't remember what it was. There was something very specific, and it sounded not professional or not appropriate for work. But it was literally a type of like fiber connection.
Oh, okay.
It's a multi-pull-on or something.
Oh, okay.
But someone said like, "Oh, we're gonna do multi-pull-on," and I was like, "Okay, I don't know what that is." And I'm obviously not a comm guy, so
that's where I would say that's what she said.
Exactly. There you go. And I was like, "Yeah." I don't know what this is. I'm gonna wait till I get home to Google that. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's not bad at all. Yep. MPO is the type of fiber connection that we're gonna be doing in the renovation. But they kept saying multi pull on, and I'm like, I don't trust this.
Are you sure that's right?
It was like, and of course, these are all comm professionals talking about it, so they all know what they're talking about. I didn't want to be like, hey, I'm the Korean linguist on the phone. I have no idea what multi pull on is. Can you explain it to me? Because if it was something simple, they're like, all right, here it is. But if it's something like very in depth, I didn't want to draw out the conversation for 30 minutes about like, all right, so we're going to take these bundles of fiber. And I'm like, okay, you lost me. It's cool. Don't worry about it. I'll Google it later. And it was very quick, very easy. You know, I don't mind asking stupid questions a lot, but if I don't know how stupid the question is at first.
So I have that same problem a little bit where I like to ask questions.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a meeting with a bunch of other people that are higher ranked than I am and the meeting is going along, I don't want to be the person to be like, excuse me, what did you mean by that?
Right.
Because everyone else might know. In my head, I'm thinking everyone else knows what this is. I'm going to be the only one that just looks dumb in this meeting, and I just don't want to portray myself like that.
Yeah.
But then after the meeting, I'll just go up to a person and be like, hey, what does this mean?
Exactly.
That's how I get around that issue.
Now, I will say, when I was a senior airman, I did it a lot because I was allowed to be dumb as a senior airman.
Yeah.
As a staff, I think I still did the same thing. I did not do that as a tech at all. I still asked questions, but it was always that one-on-one type setting. You were brought here obviously for a reason, and I would just, is there anything that you would like to say for the people who nominated you, or your squadron leadership, or the group leadership? Anything that you have specifically for them, your thoughts or wishes or whatever for the people that are going to listen?
So I would say, obviously, thank you to my leadership who thought that I deserved the honor of coming on here. Because, I mean, what I've always been taught is just going in and doing the work, going above and beyond. It's just, that's what you do. So I don't expect to get any awards. I don't expect coins. I don't need that gratification to me, but having them still push me up for things, I feel very thankful that they've done that. For my current team, though, I know Senior Airman Johns, Sergeant Trin, Captain Carluccio, the Esri rep that we have, Carl Eichenberger, they've helped me out tremendously for what I'm doing now. And I'm very thankful to have them on my team because I'm always continuously learning from them.
Yeah.
Same with Sergeant Alshouse, who currently went to DGS2.
Yeah.
He helped me quite a bit, especially when it came to coding on Python, because that was new to me. And now I'm pretty much doing it for the 8th.
Yeah.
For all these new things. But yeah, other than that, I thank you for the opportunity for everyone just to allow me to be here and do this. This was fun.
Yeah.
I like this.
Is John's a staff sergeant?
Yes, staff select.
Oh, man. Oh, he hasn't pinned on yet?
No.
Okay.
He won't pin on for a while.
I was about to say, I think you owe him a beer, because for some reason I thought he already pinned on. So
I wouldn't have made that mistake.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for all that you do, not just for the 8th IS, but for the group, because what you're doing is obviously, it has broader impacts across our group, as well as, the rest of the enterprise, that are going to be kind of following suit as to what the, DGS-5 is doing when it comes to AETs and the data management, the, analysis, and all of the kind of the structuring that we're doing right now, I know is being replicated across at different sites. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And the willingness to jump into something that isn't normal outside of your career field, but you found that you had a passion for something and ran with it. So
yeah.
All right. Have a great day and have a good weekend.
Awesome. You too.
That was a conversation with Staff Sergeant Eric Wilson from the 8th Intelligence Squadron. He was nominated for the Bragging on My Airman by his flight commander, Captain Carluccio, who said that Staff Sergeant Wilson embodies all the qualities of a great NCO and leader with his mentorship and dedication to safety and health of his airmen.
If you have any ideas or recommendations for future podcast shows or guests that you'd like to hear from, let us know by going to any of the socially acceptable means of communication. Leave us a comment. Facebook URL is facebook.com/group/692D podcast. The email is simply 692dpodcast@gmail.com, and you can always leave us a message on the Mattermost channel. If If you can't get to any of those, send me an email at derek.addison@us.af.mil, and I'll respond as soon as possible. That's the show for today. So for now, aloha, take care of yourself, and if you can, take care of someone else too.